wrong uns. Welcome to the Church of What's Happening Now. We have we well, we kind of have lots to talk about. I don't know. I'm getting this thing where people are commenting and they're getting like a crown symbol and a number 1. I've no idea what that means. Oh, I don't know what that means. I have no clue of how to get rid of it. As you know, I may not be a technophobe, but I've been looking forward to this live all day today because there's so much going on. I do hope that all the parishioners are finding their way into the pews, grabbing a little bit of Battenberg for your blood sugars, and some altar wine. We are going to talk about, lots of things. And as I said on the live last night, a lot of people will have watched the last few lives in consecutive. I have very strong coffee tonight. I have hibiscus with Jaeger bombs. I did think about alcohol because I am in desperate need of the odd bit of grog, and just because I've picked up an injury. It must be one of those. I've done something to my shoulder. It must be pointing on these bloody lives. So if you hear any yelping, it's moi. What speaks French, has 2 thumbs, and loves oral sex. Moi. Look, I know it's an old one. I know, but it's the best I've got at this time of my life. Let me just make sure I've got everything in order, because we've got in the sermon. I was just going to say, look, I'm just going to freestyle it tonight, but there's so much ITV. Go woke, go broke. Talk about that later. We'll talk about that errant evil that is the Prime Minister. Yes, him. PMQs today. He nearly. Well, I could have died. I genuinely could have died of boredom. Kemi, not good enough. She's simply not good enough. And then we've got that blonde fat twat, the clown that thinks he's going to be the next Prime Minister. Mate. So we're going to talk about that. Are you ready with your weapon? Have you got your weapon out? Have you got your weapon in hand? Oh, look at the yucca. The yucca looks quite spiritual this evening. Look at the sun on the yucca. We're going to talk about crypto. We're going to talk about, we'll mention Tommy. We'll talk about the Mummy and Daddy's army and leggy. And, army, have you got any guns in your house? Free speech, illegals today, set a new record. We're going to talk about, Virgin Island. Have you seen that Virgin Island? I'm going to tell you where they got the idea from years ago. Years ago. They were banging in the Kiss boardroom. Tell you more about that later. And we'll talk about, Starmer, the bloody Harmer. And have you heard the new Robbie Williams song? I like to keep across, the tunes. I keep up with everybody and their tunage. And Robbie Williams today launched a kind of new 2-minute tune called Rocket. Except it sounds like Gary Glitter. It's even got Black Sabbath's Tommy Iommi on guitar. So we do have lots. I think we might have a bit of music somewhere tonight because I fancy in my dotage and in pain doing a bit of something that will cheer us up because we've had 3 nights of that just moron in the Pink Palace. So Sandra Whittam saying hello, Adrian. 3 days till we meet at Wembley. Are you worried? Always, Sandra. Always. I mean, I'm a Sunderland supporter, so I always fear the worst because it always ends up being the worst. But if we turn up on the day, we've beaten you twice this season. We're going to give you a spanking, Sandra. Technical term that Frank Boff would have been proud of. But I, because we are members of the body of the Kirk, I am giving a measured and proportionate response. Not my usual, we're the lads, when Sunderland is mentioned in any way, shape or form. Forgive me. But I do wish you well, Sandra. I mean, the Blades, as I say, have a place in my heart simply because you've been a regular on on these lives, and we've had Leeds supporters, Blades, Sheffield United, Sunderland supporters. We might have had a Burnley supporter at one point, but the top four in the Championship. It'll be an interesting season, whoever goes up next season. But fingers crossed, and I wish you a good game, Sandra. Genuinely a good game. I'm not going to do any lives between now and Saturday. I'll just have to go all zen-like, all ninja-like, because it will wind me the f*** up on Saturday. If you think I rant and rave on here, you want to see me watching a footy match, especially at a footy match. Brilliant. I have to wish you well, Sandra, because it's, body of the Kirk and all that. Karen Davis says, I'm here to keep up with the madness. Me too, Karen. Garen. Me too, Garen. I can't even see anything with these bloody glasses on. Do apologise. And there is plenty of madness. And some of the stuff that I wanted to do, and I didn't have time to make any notes. God, blimey. Oi, 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 that's military grade. Powerful coffee. I won't sleep for 3 days now. Andrew James says, new bills have been approved despite the local council rejecting the plans. Hang on, Andrew. How does that work? I thought it was the local councils that decided on what was going to be built and where. Evidently not. We're going to be living on top of each other in shoeboxes. There will not be enough land to grow produce. I agree, Andrew. And also, Ginger Growler, she's... where is she? Hang on a second. I know it's round the wrong way, but I'm just showing you because I'm showing you. Ginger Growler on the front of the Telegraph. It's saying Rayner's secret plan to tax savers. She's making her move now. She's making her move for the prime ministerialship. Ginger Growler. Hang on a second. All right, okay. Ginger Growler wants to be, but you see, I hate to tell you this because Rachel Reeves she's somewhere abroad. Where's she gone? Canada, Australia. She's G7. Is it in Canada? She's buggered off to G7 to kind of duck all the bombs, Ginger Growler wants to be Sir Keir Starmer. Now that's a comedy opening, which I'm sure we will fill. I'm not talking about her opening. I'm talking about the opening because, I mean, if the rumours be true, how the bloody hell is he staying as Prime Minister? How? Please, how? Just explain it to me. How? I mean, how? Cultural reference. Cuban Pete says, welcome to the body of the Kirk, Andrew. Cuban Pete says, bend it for a friend, Mr. U-turn. Well, he knows how to make a U-turn. I did ask him once, and he says, I haven't a clue, but give me a pair of wellies and I'll make its eyes water. I'll leave it with you. You'll wake up screaming in the middle of the night, realising what I've just said. Les Griffith says, let's hope we get to focus on serious matters tonight and not get distracted. The country is in serious trouble. You don't say, Les. Well, yeah, we can go as serious as you want. But the reason why I put some proportionate stuff in here is because, look, it would just be massively depressing. We know that they're corrupt. We know that they're corrupt and crooks and deviants and up to all kinds of shenanigans that we can't really go for tonight until that particular court case. I mean, I was just thinking to myself, how would anybody in this country have the temerity to get to know 3 Ukrainian chaps unless it was via Grindr? And for all I do this, I appreciate that certain people can stand up in front of hundreds, thousands, millions in the country because there's nearly 70 million of us. They daren't print the true number. But I think I only know one Ukrainian, and I know loads of people. Only one Ukrainian. So how does one get to know 3? Well, maybe one of them's Romanian. You can't trust the mainstream media. How on bloody earth has certain people just suddenly found themselves in the company of loads of Ukrainians? Unless you're getting free Charlie from Sniffy. Didn't see me lips move. Garen's here to keep up with the madness. Let me just go down here. Andy B. I really thought I was early tonight, but you beat me to it. Evening, Andy B. Evening, Stuart. I hope you haven't forgotten the hibiscus tonight, Rev. I did put it in your bottle of water instead. Oh, yes. The utter wrong mug is full of hibiscus and Jaeger bombs. Yes, quite, Stuart. I did put it in your bottle of water instead. Think you'll need the whole bottle to cope with wankier Starmer. Yeah, wank stain Starmer. Amber nectar. Who's Benjamin Fulford's? Les, just kind of use code. I'll work it out if you put it in the comments. Anybody putting anything contentious in the comments, well, you're gonna have to put code in, as we do, because we're friends and we can work that out. We need to get it past the algorithm. What time we got? Yeah, right, okay, we better get into stuff now. Louise Hampson's in the body of the Kirk. Evening, all wrong'uns. Evening, Louise. Please don't say anything about the football. A bit nervous. Depends which side you're going after, Louise. Well, whichever way you look at it. I'm in a family of Spurs supporters. And I used to work at Century... Hang on, which one was it? Century Northwest. It was based in the Keys in Manchester. I used to do my phone-ins from there. And I got to see Manchester United's footy ground from where I was broadcasting. Very special. Very, very special. Oh, right, okay. What's he been saying, Les? Spit it out, man. Hang on a second. Right, let's just do that. Louise Hampson, she's a Spurs fan. Louise, I do wish you well. I'm just hoping that, they don't do the Spursy thing and we get a bit of silverware in the household. They've all left me alone because if there's footy on the telly, we're all getting stuck in with a bit of falling down water. Aidan Wellsmith says it's going to be 0-0. Rich, evening, everyone. Evening, Rich. Stuart says, I'm surrounded by Arsenal and United fans. Theo Bovril says, up the Spurs. Is that a euphemism, Theo Bovril? You can do whatever you want in this body of the Kirk. We are a broad church. Evening, Rich. Evening, I see you. Today, I thought, I'll watch this shite that purports to be PMQs, Prime Minister's Questions. And he's reading from a script very badly. I'm telling you, as a man in radio that had to read many scripts and make the listener think that it was just ad-libbed, that boy was reading from a script. Now, it looks like he's had his hair cut. And I was watching him and I thought, he's dropping ginger growler in the shite. Technical term that we use on YouTube, live streams. Because he was bragging about the old Bovril, Spurs is my team, brilliant. Starmer clearly doesn't pay his tradesmen. The Labour Party needs to get to the bottom of this. They do, Aidan. And, he might be... he might need a new job. He can always become a backdoor man at a genuine job. Ask anybody that works for any of the supermarkets. The backdoor man is the one that accepts all deliveries at the back door. Aidan Wellsmith says, a bit of manscaping, you mean, Rev? Well, maybe. Someone's already been to the bottom of it, says Rich. You lot are funny tonight. I think I might just give up and just read the comments. Andy the Gabby Cabby put a clip of Starmer in his video today. I wanted to throw my phone against the wall. Blimey, Andy the Gabby Cabby. He'll be making friends again in a couple of weeks. Mark Ogden, evening all, evening Mark. And Stephen Hall, Lammy doesn't pay taxi fares. Well, he eats more than Mr. Creosote, I can tell. Wafer Thin Mincer? No, fuck off, I'm Lammy. Aidan Wellsmith, they are all under a gagging order, literally. Well, he's no doubt that Starmer loves a gimp mask with an orange ball in it, because he's not saying anything apart from Ginger Growler. 1.5 million new homes we're going to build, and 9 months down the line, they're nearly a year in power. How many are they made? Not enough. They're never going to reach the target. Ulysses of Eriu, that's how Ukrainian builders work. What, from the bottom up? The old Bovril Starmer rumours, Starmer guilty by absentia. Ooh. I mean, can you imagine being his wife? Not that I'm trying to put that mental picture in your head, but can you imagine the embarrassment? And last night I thought about talking about this AIDS test that he did. So I did a bit of research, and Beverly Knight, the singer, you know the singer, Beverly Knight, she was involved in it. Seemingly it was a it was one of those things. It was like a public service announcement. He was saying, you know, you need to get tested for AIDS just in case. It's 2025, and everybody's looking at him going, what the actual mate? Why would, this is 2025, not 1985. Why would we need to have an AIDS test unless we've been bumming some rent boys? Not that I'm suggesting anybody has, but, you know, just in case, especially Africans and or those that are near Africa or Russia. But who? I mean, who? Do you know anybody? I don't know anybody. Stuart says, oh, Christ, can you imagine Starmer being your dad? God, I feel for his kids. Oh, don't worry, Stuart. They're going to be boots on the ground in Ukraine. They're going across there first because he's not sending anybody else's kids if he's not sending his own. Isn't that right, mate? I see you. AIDS vaccine, anyone? I know. Well, yeah, well, no. Because they say that one version of the jibber jabber brings about AIDS, a version of AIDS, autoimmune deficiency syndrome. The jibber jabber. So there's an increase in AIDS, not from any other reason than, you know, not shagging monkeys in Africa. It's about they were on about that AIDS is on the increase. Yeah, because some of the jibber jabber caused it. Chris says he keeps mentioning the black hole. We're back to Rachel Reeves. Rachel from account. She's got a massive black hole, seemingly. Well, she is the Chancellor, and she's saying 22 billion. And we know it doesn't exist because the Office of Budget Responsibility, the OBR, have said, no such thing as a 22 billion pound black hole. So they can go and old Foxtrot Oscar. Growler was on about raiding savings, says Jackie Glasgow. Yes, she was. Rayner's secret plan to tax savers. Not hers. Depends how many houses she's got, how many kids, what the kids are into. Wasn't her kid making porn movies or something? And according to Rich, pensions have never recovered since Gordon Brown raided the pension pots. Don't get me going on that fat tongue twat. You didn't see me lips move. Big Mike, says Cuban Pete. Bigger Mike. Is Big Mike going to go with cancer? Just asking for a friend. The Bad Wolf Project says the number alongside the chat are chat rankings. So, yes, a bunch of rankings. Oh, I say. Oh, brilliant. Bad Wolf Project. So, let me have a look. Who's number one in the chat tonight? I know that Chris is number 2. Number 1 is Les Griffiths. Nobody's going to keep up with Les tonight. Politicians should be required to pass an IQ test before being allowed to run for office. I agree with you, Les. And they should also have drugs tests. The load of them. Because did you notice that Ginger Growler was sniffing today? PMQs. I noticed it straight away and she was like, oh, really? Is it running, Ginger Growler? Too full? Who's number 3 then? So we have rankers in tonight. Les Griffiths currently, it's like a bloody horse race. Les Griffiths is currently number one, and we've got Chris, who's number two. Number two. Oh, come on, bloody hell, man! I could have. What's that one? Stuart's number two earlier on, so I'll keep an eye on who's ranking above everybody else. Jonathan King said in a video about his old school, he was worried about a member of the royal family using his bed due to all the stuff Jonathan King he got up to. Are we talking rent boys again? Jonathan King, he went to jail for it. View Bovril, they grow weed in the Houses of Parliament window boxes. I've been there. Didn't think they were. What's the no for? Bad Wolf Project? Or are you just having repetitive strain injury? Brit 2014 says, I'm number 26. Talking to 26. Actually, that number resonates. Yeah, that's how many presenters they've got on Loose Women. I've done my research. So let's talk about... I'm going to try and be less sweary tonight. But if we get on about Starman, there's every chance that my Tourette's are going to kick in permanently. So I was watching PMQs, and he kind of made a reference to Ginger Growler, Deputy Prime Minister, and said that, oh, she's going to build 1.5 million homes. In other words, right, tell them how you're not going to reach 1.5 million, because it's absolutely physically impossible to reach 1.5 million homes before the end of this term, shall we say. He's bumping up his chat comments. So I was looking at, I mean, there's so many things that we could go at. We before, calling them two-tier Kia was seen as a massive insult. And now we're thinking, well, it kind of sits, doesn't it? Two-tier queer Kia, as in, queer as folk, Kia. And I'm going to ask you loads of questions tonight because I genuinely want to get a feeling. I want to get the zeitgeist. I want to know where you are with all of this. I get, all the gear. All the gear Kia. I think you'll find that Macron palmed that off, Aidan. It's a bit warm tonight. Or am I going through the change? Louise Hampson, I was so disappointed when I found out about Jonathan King. Yeah, me too. All those rent boys, but he's served his time. He's out of jail. He's got his own YouTube channel. He's telling some stories on there. I watched it when it started, and I'm sure it's got plenty of subscribers. But then again, that's not really a metric, because from what my research, I've identified some people on here who buy their subscriptions, who buy their views. And you can tell by my subscriptions, they keep going up and down and up and down, up and down like a bride's knickers on her honeymoon. So if you buy them, it just goes up and up and up and up and up. Of course. Stephen Hall, Starmer wants us back in the EU too. What do you mean, wants us back in the EU? We're already back in the EU, but as of yesterday. He's just a treasonous traitor of this country. How he can stay here for any length of time at any point in the future. A bit like Charles Linton, Anthony Charles Linton Blair, Bow Street Magistrates. Hang on, what's Stuart said? Les, I like the cut of your jib tonight. You're not holding back, are you? Les Griffith says, I wonder if King paid Cowell the money back he donated towards his defence costs. In fact, Cowell was the biggest donator to Jonathan King's defence funds, well known for his case against spanking rent boys and other things. So now we've got... should I ask a question now? We'll do... I'm going to ask you a question in a moment about stuff within what I'm talking about, because singularly, the Labour Party are shitting themselves. All of them. Couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of people. Why? Because they're all corrupt. They are literally hoovering up the freebies, flying about on other people's planes, not paying taxi fares, can't get their cases back from the taxi drivers. I mean, Starmer's, from what we read, he's been up to some stuff, that boy. And how the hell it's not come out? Well, that's out. Oh, definitely out. But look at what he's been doing. Coca-Cola on the train, and driving about in a Ford Escort. What's the equivalent to a Ukrainian car that would be like a Ford Escort? Oh, Terry Wookfit, seeing as Starmer hasn't been paying his rent, will he be excited? I am intrigued by this court case, very, very intrigued, because if the process of law has to take place, but sometimes in cases, defendants plead guilty to get a lesser sentence. But pleading guilty in this case would mean that the public wouldn't find out any further detail. We wouldn't. Unless, of course, the Sun and the voicemail notes and stuff, would they publish them? Aidan, we have to be very, very, very careful with the court case because, as I have mentioned regularly, there's a thing called sub judice. It's just roughly translated from the Latin under the judge. So we can't really comment about the intricacies of the court case, but we can talk about things in the wider sense. And that way, it keeps me out of jail and you out of jail. Because even though you might put it in the comments, I have to try and protect you. As Griffith says, I wonder if Adrian soon starts to get comments telling him he is loved and there's nothing he can do about it. I think you find, Les, somebody's actually got the copyright to that. And if anybody uses that without permission, could end up in the shite. Genuinely, just do your own research on Google. It don't take 30 seconds. No, he won't tell me that he loves me. Neither will his. Just as a little aside, because we'll stay on Starmer. Just as a little aside, I will maintain my stance from the beginning, and it is this: people need to let him heal. He needs to understand that life is not how he perceives it, and he has to heal. He's only coming out and doing one show a week because I think he knows until he sells those shows out, then he can't. And he wants, I would imagine, wants all the money himself because he said in a court of law, and I don't need to mention who it is, he needs to earn money. And they'll save the two gobshites for 2026. Oh, Aidan, I'll have a look at that. Thank you very much. Terry Wookford, given the fact it's being handled by the anti-terrorist branch, it's about Starmer. They haven't handed it over to regular plod yet. Ooh. Well, what do they know that we don't? I've said to you dozens of times, what exactly have the shadow puppet masters got on Starmer that makes him do as he is told? By the World Project, Black Belt Bullshitter released a video on this earlier today claiming the MSN watched his channel. Jesus, the ego on this bloke. I haven't seen anything by him for easily over a year. Easily. Yeah, Waddy, we get it. Rich, D-notice? No, if there was a D-notice issued, a bit like Thomas Hamilton and that high-profile paedophiles in Scotland that he used to procure kids for, why would Thomas Hamilton's stuff be put under a D-notice? Because these politicians are not for your benefit. They're not doing anything for your benefit. It's all about the power, the corruption, the money, and ultimately, as we can see from certain American politicians, shagging kids or killing kids or adrenochroming kids. I see you. Says, my mind goes to a dark place when I ponder what they have on Starmer. Me too. I see you. And that will never come out. Never, ever, ever come out. There's a very dark place in Westminster, and the people that need to control Starmer have got whatever they've got on Starmer, and he will do as he is told. You mark my words. We haven't mentioned the gerbils for a couple of weeks. Correct. Oh. I'm just getting fueled up. So, when politicians realise that they've absolutely brassed us off to the point where we want to remove them from power, they start, filling their pants, defecating, 50p sixpence, 50p sixpence. So the whole of the Labour Party, the political Labour Party or the parliamentary Labour Party, are starting to put heat on Starmer because they now know they are going to lose their power base. They are going to go for... Were you there, Terry? Were you shagging her next door? Because I heard the fucking tape, mate. Okay, I'll give you that. Customer's always right. So, Starmer is under pressure. He knows that Ginger Growler wants his spot. He knows that if he's not clever, she's going to take his spot. It's not going to be Rachel Reeves. Everybody hates her. It's not going to be Yvette Cooper because everybody just laughs at her. And have you seen the ugly fizzog on Yvette Cooper? Not that I'm talking about personality politics, but she's a double bagger, definitely. And then you've got Fat Lammy, Mr. Creosote, and you've got Wes Streeting, who seems to be the one in the background. Nice cut of a Mary Hinge. Nice cut of his suit, nice expensive suit. But then again, when you're being bought suits by Lord Ali as Prime Minister, so it could be anybody in the Labour Party because they're all amateurs. But I think Ginger Growler is very gently making her move. And Starmer knows this. So Starmer's got the whole of the Parliamentary Labour Party and the NEC on his back going, oi, Mr. President, can you not sort this out? And Starmer's going, well, you know, we'll try our best. And then they go, oh, for fuck's sake, man. You were doing Coca-Cola on that train. The whole of the world's media saw that, saw what you were doing. And we know what he was doing because it's not being mentioned in the newspapers. It's not being mentioned in any of them. And I'll say it to you again. You can always tell when a story is genuinely the story because it doesn't appear in the mainstream media. And how do they control the mainstream media? With advertising revenue. The government just spunks a shit ton of money all over, technical terms before you start, a ton of money into advertising for the newspapers to keep them afloat. In the last financial year, the Sun lost over £50 million in the last financial year alone. So Starmer, he's made more U-turns than a slaughterman at a slaughterhouse. So Ed's Ball and Yvette Cooper, that is an image I cannot shift out of my head. If that mole on her cheek, is that a valve where she inflates and deflates her face daily? That's quite funny, actually. Even Stephen, sorry I'm late, Rev. It's my birthday. Happy birthday. Even Stephen, everybody in the comments, if you want to wish Even Stephen a birthday, because he's a regular to the body of the Kirk. But, and happy birthday, Even Stephen. So we've got Starmer standing at the lectern, the dispatch box today. And he's right, yes, what we're going to do. I mean, he's trying to be funny. At his back box, somebody said to him, look, Kia, mate, you're going to have to show them that you're human. How do I do that? Do I get my todger out on the table? No, it's not big enough, mate. Well, what should we do? Should we just crack a gag? What's one of them? Oh, we forgot you're a barrister. Right, okay. Tell you what to do. Do a U-turn. Tell them and show them that you're human. Because as I said to you last night, people don't tell you who they are. They show you who they are. And Starmer's just... I haven't got alive long enough. We know what he is. So to save some of the backbenchers and their office and their, staying in the as an MP, we now have a Prime Minister that has lost control. We also have a U-turn Prime Minister, and he's the U-turn king. Why do I say that? Because he's now trying to ingratiate himself to the pensioners. And why is he doing that? Because the pensioners have gone, you filthy bastard. Right, you took 300 quid off us. We're going to take 300 quid out of your arse, mate. There might be a bit of a queue, but we're going to take 300 quid individually out of your arse because we're getting rid of your party as soon as we can. We're all going to vote for reform. So he stands there today and goes, yes, well, I'm planning to reimburse the pensioners with some winter fuel payments. And like these politicians, they don't go, oh, Mr. U-turn. Oh, is that your butt plug I've heard hit the ground? Oh, or take the mickey out of him. What we don't have in the Houses of Parliament, the Pink Palace, we don't have politicians that are fighting for us. Because we can look across the pond and see the big orange man who's fighting for the America's first. He's taken all of the money that America was spunking around the world like it was going out of fashion. And then the Donalds come in and gone, right, I'm fighting for America first. Over here, as someone's just asked, hang on, the U-Bovril, he ties his butt plug to his willy using a pink ribbon. Starmer needs to fight for us. He needs to put things in place where he's not taking orders from Davos and the WEF. He's not being told by Ursula von der Leyen bitch or anybody else, the WEFites. Because have you noticed, Klaus Schwab has disappeared. I mean, it's not like he was the Bond baddie and he was going to have us all die. I'm telling thee, die. He's kind of Foxtrot Oscared, so we don't know where he is. So who's giving Starmer his orders? After taking that powder on that train, they'll be his marching orders. So we need politicians to fight for us. We need straight up and down. We don't care about how much money they're making. Look, if it's money you're after, so long as you're fighting for us against the world, we'll pay you £1 million a year. How does that sound? Each one of these MPs, £1 million in gold every single year. But not so that you'll trouser it and feck off into the sunset with it, but you'll fight for us because our taxes, there's billions and billions and billions of it. Just fight for us. We're fair. Because if you don't fight for us, it means we've got to fight you. And if we're fighting you, we don't fight fair. We're just going to vote you out. Au revoir. Bye. Go and see your German mates. Go and see your French mates. Because they've got no backbone, either of them. So now we need politicians to fight for us. And I would suggest that Starmer is the U-turn king. He's giving the pensioners the winter fuel payments because he suddenly found out after the local elections that we absolutely categorically want these bastards gone. Done with, gone. And it doesn't matter what they say now, because we know that they're going to be sucking our cocks going, please, please, please vote for me. Please, please, please vote for me. Fuck off. We've had enough of your lies. We've had enough of your corruption. We've had enough of your bullshit. And that goes for the fucking Tories as well. I mean, what a time to be alive when we can see them lying, and it doesn't matter whether they lie or not, because we're just going to get rid of them at the ballot box. Now, they might bring some cheating in because they don't want to be sent home packing with a flea in their ear. But I'll ask you a question. How bad must the pressure be on the innards of the party? And Ginger Growler's sitting there going, I want to be Prime Minister. Anybody want to suck on these? I'm going to be Prime Minister. Oi, oi, oi. Bad Wolf Project. Who has designed that? Sorry, changing tack ever so slightly, but it is the Labour Party. Alistair Campbell. War crimes. Now, is it a trend, or has somebody made an allegation against him and his fucking bagpipes? Neil Cunningham says, Martin says so on these. Neil Cunningham, me man boobs. Neil Cunningham says, I'll take that job, AA. Me too. I mean, we could make a much better fist of it than these corrupt arseholes. How bad must the pressure be from within for Starmer to be kind of wobbling? I'm just calling it Ginger Growler's Marxist move. Why? Because she's a Marxist. I mean, can't we hear, man? She's a union woman. I mean, I heard her being interviewed today and I thought, nah, we can't send her out on the world stage. It was bad enough with Sakir and a butt plug up his ass. She's just going to talk with a Manchester accent. I mean, can you imagine going to America? Hello, Donald. Hello, JD. From Manchester. Whale Tappers and Shunters Club. Aye, right, aye. But again, I tell you this. The only reason that these people get these top jobs is because they've got shit in their closet that they never want to come out. But the people that have got the detail, a bit like Epstein and Diddy and Hugh Hefner. Hugh Hefner was the daddy. Hugh Hefner was the one that started it all in the 60s, 50s, 60s and 70s. He knew who was banging who, and he had all the videotapes to prove it. So, the Bad Wolf Project. Was that a cloth sack she was wearing today at PMQs? She looked like a desperate fishwife. Yeah, and the shoes matched. I mean, collars and cuffs match on a Ginger Growler. How on earth did she do that? Is it a merkin? If you don't, Google it, but don't do it in front of anybody else. The Donald would have Growler for breakfast. Well, no, not at his age. I don't think Melania would let him anywhere near her. Tom Harney's Lucy Connolly case never came across his desk, he says. Well, of course, neither did the Savile case either. That went to file 13, straight in the bin. So we've got... Can you remember when when Starmer went to the White House and J.D. Vance and the Donald nearly burst their incontinence pants because J.D. Vance was talking about freedom of speech and Starmer went, we've got freedom of speech. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. And J.D. Vance looked at Trump and Trump looked at J.D. Vance and they kind of had a little schoolboy snigger. And he was like, yes, I defend free speech in our country. Ask Lucy Connolly about free speech. That's how duplicitous this man is. That's how nasty and evil he is. He will say anything to stay in power. He will say anything in front of the cameras, in front of the journalists. And then when he gets home, he's like, oh, just bang her up in prison. I agree with you, Nicola. They should free Lucy Connolly. It's enough now. It's enough. Pressure drop. Savile was English. You are all the same. Savile lived in Scotland. Does that make him Scottish? If you go far back enough. We're all from the same seed, not out of Africa. I can go back 1,500 years, can you? I know exactly who I am. I know exactly who my family are or were. I've lived in Wales and in Scotland and in England, and I respect all comers, so long as you wipe it up afterwards. Elizabeth Casey. Yes, Peter, off on me holiday. Nice one, Elizabeth. Paul McCockey says both Vance and Trump trolled Starmer in public. Not sure Starmer even realised it. He's not bright enough, man. He's as thick as pig shit. He's being told what to do. When they say jump, he says how high, because he just wants to stay in the gig. We don't have such a thing as free speech in this country until those people that have been arrested and jailed, because remember, they were all, well, a lot of them were advised to plead guilty. If you plead guilty, then you'll get a shorter sentence. And because they pled guilty, they had to go to jail. I wouldn't have pled guilty. I would have denied it. Because a man is truly innocent until proven guilty. Simon Clarkson, evening you. Evening, Simon. Welcome to the Body of the Kirk. Bad Wolf Project, a pressure drop. Jimmy Savile owned a cottage called the Alton Array in Glencoe, Scotland, from 1998 until his death in 2011. So the Scots have got a hand in it. Why would he have a little cottage up there? I mean, I've seen the videos of people going up there, but why would he go up there in the middle of nowhere? Who would he take with him? And beyond a reasonable doubt. Thank you, Aidan. I missed that bit similarly. Galactus, name... Play nicely in the chat. We're not rounding on it seems it might get that way. Look, I want to talk about illegals today, because you know there's been over 800 illegals have come across from France today in the boats, because I would presume we're getting into peak season where the water's glass calm and they can get across quite quickly, and they will only come down to the dinghies and get them across. I mean, one illegal who got asylum here and then was organising, was on benefits and this, that and the other, then started organising other people to come across. I mean, you see, back in the day, let's take Jerusalem, for example. Jerusalem, the old city, has walls around it. And why did most of the cities in the Middle East have walls around them? And here, or take York, for instance. York has walls around it still to this day, and they have lots of gates in them so that you could get into the city or the main part of the city. And anybody trying to get into the city who wasn't welcomed were shot and killed and dealt with. So why are we walking about with hundreds, that's nearly 1,000 people coming across today, over 800, I'm sure when by the time they get their missus across, just open the guns on them. They'll soon stop. I mean, the people making the money won't. And I tend to think that there must be politicians somewhere making money out of this. There has to be, because they know how much it is irking everyone in this country. And I know the Clwyd Piven strategy is to destroy the country from the inside. I know what they're trying to do, but we have... It's a bit like... who was that arsehole politician that went across to meet Hitler and came back waving a paper agreement, and everybody laughed going, what the fuck is that? I mean, did you see the state of the plane he came back in? So we're getting to a point where we can't trust the politicians to do what we need them to do. We're nervous about getting reform into power, because if if you don't want to know the score, turn the sound off. But if you've got a Spurs family, fingers crossed. Neville Chamberlain, thank you, Matthew. So Neville Chamberlain came back and was like waving this piece of paper. Oh, peace in our time, peace in our time. Go off. We ended up in World War II with him. I mean, look at the royals. Look, if you've got money and money is no object, then you just want the power. And the royals were cozying up to Adolf, and they were cozying up to him because they believed that communism, the Russians, communism was going to take over Europe. And the communists had taken the royal families out, the Bolsheviks, and just shot the royal family. So the royal family in this country were shitting themselves because they thought if the Bolsheviks and the communists took over Europe, then they weren't going to be long for this world. So that's why they kind of cozied up to Hitler. They wanted Hitler to destroy the Russians. And the Russians, they lost almost 25 million people in World War II. But they gave it to Hitler, and Hitler had to bugger off down into South America. And Neville Chamberlain, wow, what an arse he was. But the front page of the Sun today, seemingly, let me just, I need your help here. So Muslims hate dogs. They're dirty. They won't have them around. But this dog's come across on one of the dinghies. One of the Muslims has brought his dog with him. So either we're getting misinformation and disinformation because obviously the Muslims love dogs, either that or, as the Vietnamese say, 100 ways to walk your dog. They love dogs. They've got it because they brought one with them. And it's on the front page of the Sun today. How does that work? 1-0, pressure drop. You see, Alan, as I've been saying for months on this channel, we're a nation of dog lovers. I mean, have you seen some of my ex-girlfriends? Luke's mentioned rabies. We mentioned that last night. We also mentioned TB. There's been an influx of TB in this country. So there's... and we'd almost beaten TB. I mean, nobody was getting TB in this country. Everybody was getting the jab when they were in school. I remember mine. You remember the jab on your inside of your wrist, and if it went away, then you were fine. But if it didn't, you needed to have the jab in the top of your arm, and it was like, oh, my arm don't work now. 3 days, my arm don't work. But I looked at. Let me see if I can find it. So I looked at this today, the headline of the Sun, and I'm just going to show you if you can read backwards. But that was the headline in the Sun today, barking mad. And I thought, pet on migrant boat. Now we give bed and board to an asylum-seeking dog. And I read that and I thought, hang on a second. Muslims don't like dogs. Why would anyone bring a dog with them on the dinghy? And then I thought, oh, what are they trying to bury in the newspaper? What do they not want us to see? What story are they trying to... So I kind of scoured the whole lot today and couldn't find anything that I thought they may have been trying to bury. I mean, there's poor Tommy, Stephen Yaxley Lennon. He's been charged with harassment. So we can't talk about that and that particular case. As I say, it's sub judice, and the process of law has to be adhered to and allowed. And I support the process of law in this country. Neil Cunningham says the BBC were talking about the increase in STIs today, sexually transmitted infections. It used to be STDs in my day. Alan says the dog has more intelligence than the entire boatload. I don't know. It feels like a non-story. It feels like, I mean, the Sun are just doing showbiz on the front pages now. They're not doing hard news. They're not doing any kind of news. They're just doing showbiz. And everybody loves a fluffy. Not a fluffer, as in a fluffy. 'Cause, 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 'c And I think they're trying, I was thinking about this earlier today, they're trying to get moral indignation. They're trying to get me and you to me to get ranty on here and you to get annoyed and angry, because there's an old boxing adage, the man that angers you controls you. But it's just, it's not even dog whistle politics. It's just a natural moral indignation that we're sick and tired of politicians not doing as they are saying. But as I said near to the beginning of this particular live, people try to tell you who they are, but in essence, they show you who they are. So, Starmer, he's absolutely categorically shown us exactly who he is. He will talk shite all day, every day, just to have the power and the freebies. 100 grand's worth of freebies a year, that man seems to be trousering. What? So the newspapers are exactly the same, talking about some growler coming across on a dinghy and getting asylum in this country. Wow, man, that's not even a story. It's not. So we can see how, I mean, we can go back a couple of years with Philip Unwise but not illegal Schofield. Chris says gerbil smuggling is rife now. You just walk funny if you do. The old Bovril, will Starmer's wife spill the beans on Starmer? She'll be bought off. I bet Starmer's parents kept moving house when he was at school. Cuban Pete, shaved gerbil, rolled in cocaine. He won't be able to feel his arse at that point. Pressure's dropped. Nigel Fagash wants all of the benefits. I'm sure he does. All you've got to do is just ask Nigel. Next time you see him, just ask him, who shorted the NatWest... Can't even bloody say it. Who shorted the NatWest stock? Just ask him for a friend. Anybody else at GB News short the NatWest stock when Coots were kicking off? No, you've not got enough money. You can't have a bank account here, and it all kicked off, and it was going major shit was hitting the fan. But then, surprisingly, the shares of NatWest, the parent group, went down. And you know what shorting is? Down. So I'm just saying. Hang on a second. Yeah, it's still there. Let's do this. Just asking, is this feed now lagging? Oy, oy, oy. So those that are connected, I'm just letting you know that my so my broadband has dropped out, and I'm just readapting it, and we will continue. Come on. Hopefully, I know that you're watching me, and I know that connect. It hasn't done this for a few days, so it must just be the load from the local exchange. If it's telling me that it's checking the network requirements. At worst, I'll go downstairs and switch it off and switch it on. Oh, yeah, bunch of... Right, come on. So it's dropped out completely. Right, where are we? Let me just, I'm just going to close a few things, then I'm going to reboot my computer while I talk to you. Because I can talk to you, I just can't see the comments. And if we're to interact with each other and talk about things that are important to you, I need to see your, that one, come on, that one, come on, that one, and come on, come on, come on. Right, I'm restarting my computer, so hopefully that will work. But I can talk to you, and you can hear me. You can still see me as per usual, whichever way you would. No, Lorraine. Oh, fuck off. Yeah, restart anyway. Lorraine is still going to do a show, 30 minutes, and 30. Philip Schofield. I think that. But the old adage, go woke, go broke. Viewers are just voting with their feet. They literally have had enough. Voting with their feet. Schofield is still, there's a really bad stench at ITV because of Schofield. A, because he didn't turn up and do the honourable thing, and neither did the young boy that he was banging on the